You're in the right place for day one of the 5-day reading breakthrough. I'm Dr. Marnie Ginsberg from Reading Simplified, and I'm really honored that you are here. This is going to be an amazing experience, and we need to get moving into it so that you can learn what it is I'm claiming is so powerful about Switch It. Are you ready? So, this is my intro. And I'm just a little too big here. Let's shrink me. There we go. Can you see the slides? Deb says, I love it when the retired teachers tutor. All right, so let's jump right in. My aim is to spend 30 minutes or less for the main content for today for the free part of the 5-day reading breakthrough. Okay, so we got to get moving. I'm going to squeeze it all in. We're going to have some fun along the way. This is what my mission is for this event, this 5-day event. And we here at Reading Simplified want you to play along with us to see how far your readers can go with our #1 decoding hack. Everyone who's a simplifier uses this to get started almost with kids of almost any age. It's almost always the first thing we jump into to try to reorient the children to the code. So buckle up. This is going to be really powerful. But first, I want you to think about, why did you even sign up for this? When you saw a 5-day reading breakthrough, what was the breakthrough that you were looking for? Who are you concerned about? Do you have a child or a group of children? Your own, your grandchild, your own students, or maybe just one student who's just not making the grade, so to speak? Many of us are a month or more into the school year, and you've got kids that just aren't leveling up, right? They may not be getting several beginning reading sub-skills, and you're worried, okay? How many of you can relate to this issue? What do you think? Now think about this child or a group of children. What do you want for this child? Maybe it's a struggling reader or a beginning reader who's getting a slow start. What do you want for that student? Who's thinking of a student or a group of students? And let me know what you want. Maria can relate. She says, I need to get my 3rd graders reading. They are so behind. I'm sorry, but you're in the right place. Who else has got a student in mind? What is it that you want for them? Deb's got 3 kiddos. She's monitoring for letters training. Excellent. Who are you thinking about? That's why we're here. Because 67% of U.S. 4th graders are behind in reading. And in other English-speaking countries, it's not much better. But research has shown us that we can do way better than the mainstream, and it's not your fault. I believe a lot of it is in the hands of the approaches that we've been given and the strategies we've been taught. I'm hopefully going to tick away at some of the things all week that are slowing us down, and instead offer you a solution that's really going to accelerate your readers. So Dina's concerned about a 3rd grader learning to decode. Ken's Crafts is already inside the Reading Simplified Academy and wanting to learn more. Brilliant. Kate wants her students to love reading and not have it seem so difficult for them. Right. The love of reading often starts with not only being exposed to the beauty of story with a loved one usually, or in a great school environment, but also having the ability to do the work, to read the words, right? Kathy is worried about a 1st grade student who is already afraid of being held back. Right. Okay, keep the answers coming. I want you to reflect on why you're here and what do you want for this student, because that is going to drive you forward. This week's going to get long, as all school weeks do, but we want you to persist and get the results. People who stay for all 5 weeks and do the activity just 5 minutes all 5 days, or maybe 4 or 3, they're the ones that get the big results. So that's what I want you to think about with as we move forward this whole week. This child, this group of children that you're not satisfied with, we are here to give you a powerful part of the solution. So what I'm claiming is this activity that we're going to teach you, switch it, it rockets kids' growth. So do you have students, give me a PA if this fits you, students with poor phonemic or phonological awareness? How about kids with poor phonics? Put phonics in the chat. The letter sounds aren't sticking. You've been doing the t all week and it's not sticking. How about recognizing words by sight? Not sticking? Then this may be for you. Or just general early decoding, this activity will address it. Early spelling, this activity is a good solution. And even if you've got problems with fluency, the problems may be down in the roots, the foundation, and switch it can really rocket that area as well. So we're seeing a lot of phonics. That's good. Well, it's not good, but we have the solution. So Switch It is a really powerful activity, but I don't want you to think that it's all that we do here at Reading Simplified. We are simplified, but not down to one activity. But it is pretty simple to teach anyone how to read with our 3-component or 3-part lesson plan. This is pretty much it for what we do to teach anyone how to read. Again, a beginner who's 3, 4, or 5, a struggling 13, 14, or 15-year-old. We do rereading for fluency, a couple of different word work activities, and guided oral reading. So we're going to dive into Switch It to show you the power of our approach to word work, and I'll show you why our approach to word work is a little different. But I just want you to remember all week, Switch It's super powerful, but don't let it be the be-all and end-all. You still need a complete comprehensive reading program, and that's what we offer with the Reading Simplified system, which you can get access to inside the Reading Simplified Academy, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so that was a little bit of prep. We already talked about why you're here. We're going to start talking more about what's so special about Switch It. Then we're going to talk about your homework. Yeah, don't worry, it's easy. And then we're going to watch our star student. All week, we're going to watch a student who is struggling at the beginning and maybe not so much by Friday. And it's going to help you learn Switch It as you watch. And then we're going to draw a winner. Guess how you get to be a winner? If you are commenting, especially even more credit to those who are writing positive, encouraging things or good questions. At the end, my colleague Greg is going to randomly draw a name and you will get to pick a prize depending on where the wheel stops. Okay, so that's some fun. Jennifer's got a good synopsis here. The 3-part lesson is amazing, but doing just Switch It can have huge results, and that's why we're going to show you the power of it this week. Okay, so before we get into Switch It, I want you to think about what we're going to be pushing up against. What I'm going to suggest that you resist. Your typical reading program, typical thinking about how reading develops is that you have to isolate instruction into components. You can't get to real reading until you do all the little components or boxes in isolation before you get to real reading and real spelling. How many of you have a program like this where at first you have to do 15 minutes of phonological oral only awareness, phonological awareness. And then there's another 15 minutes where you do letter names. And many weeks later, you might get to letter sounds. And many weeks later, you might get to phonemic awareness, the individual sounds and words. That the word cat is the individual sounds of k, a, t. And then after maybe 3 months, 13 weeks even, then you might start decoding or spelling a 3-sound CVC word. Okay? Give me a yes if that is the type of program that you are familiar with. You can't, for beginners or for intervention students, you can't really get into real reading until you do all the parts. Jennifer says, my school curriculum doesn't have them blending and reading for almost 3 months. Very common. And Jasmine says, yes. Okay. So this isolated, compartmentalized approach is inefficient and it doesn't help our kids' brains get how reading works. It doesn't help them get the alphabetic principle when we're just playing with sounds and there's no print in front of their eyes. In fact, the research shows us that the print and the phonemic awareness, the individual sounds, them married together is where kids get the results. So just think about what's in your program that you could save time on if you could just drop the instructional waste. That 15 minutes where you have to do phonological oral only instruction, and then later you get to 15 minutes of letter names and or letter sounds instruction in isolation. Just be watching for how you could drop that excess and replace it with something that is not only more efficient and just because of time, but also because it makes more learning happen for the child's brain. So we like to think about Switch It and our other word work activities as integrating multiple things simultaneously. We don't isolate or put them into compartments. We're weaving them together. That's how language works. That's how reading works. When we learn language, we're learning vocabulary and syntax and pragmatics and many things simultaneously. And we're trying to draw on this child's native language abilities, wherever they are, and help them connect that to print, putting all the pieces together, weaving it together. And you'll see what I mean, I hope, when we talk about Switch It. So if you could dump 15 minutes or maybe 25 and replace it with just 5 minutes that actually made kids learn more, what would happen to your day? Thinking also not just about the 15 minutes, 20 or 25 minutes that you're dumping, but the prep for that. How would that feel? Most Reading Simplified teachers find it to be awesome. So now let's dig into more specifics about Switch It. I've talked at the theory level. Let's now get really practical. When you're actually teaching this activity, which you're going to see a video of soon, what is actually happening? Well, like I said, we're doing multiple things simultaneously. So let me show you that. If you need to teach students the concept of the word, you can do it through Switch It. You don't have to do it in a separate activity. Do you need to teach them phoneme segmentation, that they can break up the word sun into s, n? They can do it with Switch It. Do you need to teach them phoneme manipulation, which is the highest level of phonemic awareness, that they can change cat to cot? They can do this with Switch It. Do they need to learn the alphabetic principle, that concept that our written language is a code for sounds? Guess what? They could do it with Switch It. How about left to right tracking, even learning letter sound names or letter sound knowledge, early decoding, early spelling? All of these together are built into one simple activity, and after the first few lessons, we really do it in just 5 minutes. So it is it's packing a punch, it's efficient, and kids love it. Ermelie, I love it. She says amazing. That's what we need. I bet you're thinking about dumping that instructional waste, right? So what you're going to see with Switch It is us really drawing on the sounds of the language and getting kids to connect the sounds they hear with the print they see. This is how our written language works. This is such an important part of the whole movement to the science of reading, away from a 3 cueing approach to teaching reading. We know that our written language is a code for sounds or phonemes. The perception of individual sounds and words, or those individual phonemes, k, a, t, that is what helps unlock the code. Our written language is not just print and not just something visual only. It's linking sound and symbol, and Switch It nails this part of how the code works. So let's get into, that's a little bit about Switch It, the why, the real coolness of it. Now I want to just talk about the logistics of this week. Everyone who signs up can get free access to not only this training, but also a few goodies, which I'll show you. Greg, if you could please drop the link to sign up for the free reading breakthrough. In case you aren't already signed up, check the chat for that. Then we also have a VIP experience, which is a paid upgrade from this experience, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then finally, for those of you who are already members of the Reading Simplified Academy, you have access to the VIP experience automatically. It's just a complimentary benefit of being a member, so don't buy the VIP experience, okay? So The free access is going to get you this training in the Facebook group. You'll have the access to the training for a little bit more than a day. You're going to get a mini Switch It sampler, and I'll show you that. You're going to get our coaching in the Facebook group if you get over to there, and I'll show you that. And those are the main things. So you're going to learn how to, basically you're going to get the basics of how to teach Switch It and get success with your students. But maybe you want the VIP experience. We're going to go live just for VIPers around 6:30, if I can make that cutoff, or maybe a little bit after that, to get more personalized one-on-one support in Zoom 5 days a week. I'm going to answer your questions for the VIPers one-on-one in Zoom, and that link is going to be sent to you via email if you have paid for the VIP experience, or if you're a member, it'll be possibly in an email if you've signed up, and if not, in the member events section of the Academy. So the VIPers are not just going to get that one-on-one Zoom with me, they're going to get a beautiful notebook to learn, to take notes as you're learning this week, and also a more extensive Switch It word list. And then of course our members have access to everything, how to teach reading, and full curriculum for K through 5, and also you get the member access. But if you want to join and not waste your time with just one aspect of the Reading Simplified system, we can put that link in there. So Greg, if you can drop the link in actually for all 3 of those, that would be great. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the logistics of how to get your goodies if you haven't gotten them yet. How many of you have already gotten your Switch It guide? Let's talk about the logistics. If you get the free, if you sign up for free with that reading breakthrough link, free access, no money, then you can get access to our Facebook group. And it kind of looks like this. Okay? Once you're inside, you have to get permission. Then once you're inside, this is a really big part of it. Go to the guides. Can you see that there? Look for guides. Maybe it'll be at a different spot on your phone, but more or less near the top. Once you get to guides, you'll see something like this, guides. Then you can go to guide 1, because it's to day 1, and that'll be start here or prepping. And then if you click into this, it'll look like this, and you can download your Switch It mini sampler. And this is what the mini sampler is going to look like. It's going to tell you what to do, like how does one do a Switch It? It's going to give you how to give feedback, which is really worth its weight in gold. It's one of the things that makes Reading Simplified so effective, is because teachers know how to get kids over the hump when they're stuck. It's going to give you the letter sound cards, and we think the letter sounds cards are really important, or something comparable. Notice how the CK, the CH, the LL, those digraphs are on one tile. We don't recommend refrigerator tiles, because this instead is showing children the concept of how our alphabetic principle works. One sound can be, one thing or one card or one tile. If you put the CK on 2 different pieces, then they think it might be, 2 sounds. So this helps, just the layout of the letter sound cards helps kind of get the concept that one sound or one phoneme could be 2 or 3 or 4 letters. And then we have our Switch It lists, super helpful. They're very carefully designed to go over a couple of the concepts that we're going to teach later this week. But you can see there, notice they start with CVC and they progress to CCVCC level. And here are just a sample of the word lists that members get. This will give you more than enough to work with this week. And you get this, again, by signing up for the free event, going into guides, and then go to the guide 1, and you'll get this goodie. Okay, so that is the basics for people to get access to the free stuff. How are we doing in the chat? Is this making sense? I know we have a lot of simplifiers here offering support. And for those of you who don't have Facebook, please reach out to Kayla at admin@readingsimplified.com. Greg, can you put her link in the email? That would be helpful. Kayla at readingsimplified.com, and she will help you, those of you who do not play with Facebook. Now I'm going to get one more thing up. Okay, Angela, thank you. She says it makes sense. Whew. Okay, where are all my things? I've got files moving everywhere. All right, back to, okay, hopefully you got the gist. If you didn't, go ahead and ask us. And if you can get into the Facebook group, then you'll get amazing support. We're going to have Reading Simplified experts there every day, including myself, to offer support. So don't be a stranger. Just remember, you've got 3 different ways of playing along, okay? And with the free one, you'll still get great results. So we talked about your action steps. Once you have gotten your Switch It guide and you've gotten the letter sounds, you cut them up, then we want you to pick one student. Sometimes people just can't resist and they have to do the small group. That's okay, but don't do your whole grade or your whole class, because we really want you to target on instructional match and learn a lot about how to meet the specific needs of that specific child or perhaps small group. So please pick one or a small group of students, particularly someone you're concerned about, and decide on who that is today, and then report on his or her progress every day this week, just super briefly. You don't have to write a dissertation. This is going to be your homework, and if you do that every day, you do the homework, you're going to be entered into the chance to win a prize, okay? So today's prize is really exciting. We're giving away our binder, which is a new kindergarten collection that we haven't had before. So one of you who does your homework for day 1 is going to win this binder. This is a resource, a tangible resource of all the materials that are available digitally inside the Reading Simplified Academy for those who are reading pre-K to kindergarten at the beginning. Actually, by the time they're done, it's pretty much first grade level. These are colored pages, over 340 of them, decodable texts that line up with our scope and sequence. There's our scope and sequence briefly, and it gets progressively more difficult, and it is pretty awesome. So we're very proud of it. One of you lucky ones is going to win that. The binder. All you have to do is go to the day 1 post and say, this is my student. This is where I'm going to start. That's what day 1 homework is all about. Okay? That should be easy. And not only do you get that opportunity, but if you post 5 days in a row this week, then you will be entered into the ultimate grand prize for also the binder, a whole set of phonic books from our partner there, a whole set of Sound Reader crazy long card games, which are super fun, very high quality, and also this beautiful ABC kit from our colleague at the Literacy Hill. All of these approaches have a scope and sequence and a way of looking at the code that is like ours. So these resources really align with Reading Simplified. And so one person who writes in their homework for all 5 days in a row will be randomly drawn to get this puppy. So I'm excited for that. Who else is excited for that? Now let's get to the good stuff. This is our star student. This is day 1, and he's frankly a little frustrated day 1. Guess why? He was in his 3rd month of kindergarten after being in a literacy-rich pre-K, but he still only knew 6 or 7 letter sounds, no short vowels. He could not phonemically segment, so when I gave him the word sun, he couldn't say n. His teacher had identified him as struggling. He really wasn't reading, and his mother had dyslexic traits. And those weaknesses, poor letter sound, poor PA, and a family history, those often correspond to a future of dyslexia. So it was really important that he got intervention. And what you're going to see in the next 5 days is him doing Switch It for just 8 minutes a day. I did this as a mini experiment, not because we're saying Switch It is all that's needed, although it's super powerful and you'll be amazed at what happens, but to show the power of putting all those skills together, weaving the sub-skills together instead of isolating them into components. So you're going to see this star student, all of his instruction, pretty much, for 5 days in a row of Switch It. So you're going to learn how to do Switch It, but you're also going to see how he accelerates. And it's going to hopefully give you a vision for how you can push ahead with your student or students. Okay? And we're hearing from Jean or Jeannie. Great prizes. Sweet. Okay. So, are you ready to watch the Star Student? As you watch him, notice what skills he is practicing. Remember, I said that we can dump the isolated instruction, every compartmental approach to teaching decoding. Is he doing more than one thing? He's not getting a lesson ahead of time about letter sounds. He's not getting a lesson ahead of time about phonemic awareness. We're just putting everything in the kitchen sink of Switch It and mixing it up and seeing what happens. So I would love to see your comments as we watch this. It's about 9 minutes. Today's the longest day. We're going to keep it shorter tomorrow. About 9 minutes of his day 1 of Switch It. Okay, let's get started. The first word that I'm going to ask you to build is the word Sam. We're going to focus on is asking him to perceive the sounds that he hears in the word Sam. Okay, so what do you hear right here when I say Sam? That's right, that's the letter name, but what sound comes out of my mouth? That's right. Again, because of Facebook's, this looks backwards to you guys, but it's left to right as it should be for him. Now let's focus on what's the next sound that you hear in Sam. Well, there is a you know what? Which one of these is That's ah. This is Let's put that one down there. So you got the but what sound do we hear right here when I say sound? You got it. You heard it. That's ah. You're right. And guess what this is?
An A.
It's the A letter name, but also it can be ah. Can you say ah?
Ah.
Real short ah. Very good. Now pull it down and say ah. Ah. So you just built the word Sam. What's the first sound?
S.
You know what? You did it again. You told me the letter name and you're right. But what? The sound. We're always focused on the letter sound. Is s. Good. Next sound. S. You're right. You're over here though. You skipped ahead. You're too fast for me. What's this one? S. Ah. And the whole word is Sam. Can you look at it and not at me now? Look at it. Sam. You made the word Sam. Woohoo! That's a good start. Now we're going to switch from Sam to sad. I hope you're not sad. I'm not sad. I can tell you're not. Okay, we've got Sam, and we need to switch it to sad.
So
we switch one. We're going to actually just take one away. Which one would we take away to make oh, you're right. Get rid of the And what we need it maybe for later. Which sound do you hear in that spot when I said sad?
T.
No, I didn't. You know, he said t or T. So I said sad. What sound though is coming out of my mouth when I d? That's right. And which one do you think is d? You got it. Okay, so you just pull this down that this is d, right? Can you say d? D. Can you tell me the sounds? Ah. D. D. Right. Because are you sad? No, you're not sad. Switch this to had. I had a good time. That's right. Which one?
This one.
Get rid of this. You're so right. What sound goes there? What sound do I say when I say ha? That's right. Which one is ha? Nice. You made the word had. Awesome. Okay, so tell me the sounds. Ha. Ah. D. And the word is had. Okay, so you have had. Let's switch it to hat. Aha. He knew which sound to pull away, which is excellent. And now let's...
we never put this one away.
I think we should, shouldn't we? You're right. Let's do that next. Okay, so you have hat, and we want hat. That's right. So he's got the word hat, and I'm asking him to make it to hot. Are you hot? Are you hot? What sound did you take away? You had hat. What sound was that? Ah. And what sound do you need to make hot? Uh-huh. You've got the first part, the huh, and then can you say that one sound by itself? Hot.
Are we supposed to do the sound or the word?
Perfect. Always the sound with me. In the middle, I hear ah. Do you hear that in the word hot? So you're thinking about the letter O, but I just want you to hear the sound I'm saying right now. Ah. Ah. Can you say it real loud?
Ah.
Ah, that was it. Good. So he is going to make the word hot, and he needs an ah. Guess which one is ah? You got it. You got the whole thing. Let's do this sound by itself.
Ha.
Well, just by itself. And this. Ah.
Ah.
And the last. Very good. And the word is
Hot.
hot. I'm going to switch it back to hat, and then ask you to tell me which one would you take away to make sat. Like I sat in the chair. We have hat. Okay. Now, if we take away the ah in hat, we might still need it in sat. Do you hear the ah in sat? So listen as I say it. We have, oh, you're right. We don't need the huh. What sound do we have here in sat? That's right. Which one is? Pull it down. Very good. So let's check the sounds. Oh, the word is sat. Do you remember? Because he didn't say the last sound yet. So Mal, you got it. You nailed it. Sat. You're doing it right. Okay, let's switch it to mat. Like I had to put my feet on the mat. Okay, which one is? Oh, you don't even have. How could you do it? Nope. Here you go. What sound is that? Very good. Let's check mat.
Ah.
And the word is?
Ma.
Woohoo! Nice. Okay. I am going to ask him to do something slightly different because he was introducing himself to the short O, so we're going to move him along. Okay, so you have mat, and I want you to switch it to map, like I use a map to find out where I'm going. Map. That's right, get rid of the t. What sound goes here? Well, it's the word map. Yeah, you got the last sound. Can you say p? Very good. Okay, check each sound. And the last sound? The whole word is map. Map, like I use a map. You're right, there's the and then there's the ah. So we've got the word map. Can you say map?
Map.
What's that last one? You got it. So let's check the sounds. Ah, and the word is map. So this is map. How about we turn it into mop, like I mop the floors? We have a p in mop. So listen right now. We have map. We need to switch it to mop. Well, listen again. We have a mop. That's the one. What sound do you hear in the middle of mop? What sound is that?
Ma.
That's right. Ma is two sounds, though. Can you tell me this sound by itself after the
Ma.
ah? Can you say ah by itself?
Ah.
Which one is ah? I've got a lot of sounds up here for ah. Which one is ah? You found it. Okay, tell me the first sound. Ah.
Ma.
Okay, you're doing a great job with the first part. But listen to the word mop. Oh, that's it. That's the last sound in mop. So let's go back to the beginning and check it. Ah. Well, you did a great job, and you learned how to hear this sound in the middle of words, and you learned how to recognize a few more sounds. So I am so thankful. So the key to this activity is in its that it's more than its parts. So a lot of times we get distracted by really focusing on the letter sounds that a kid can or can't identify. But really, what's even more important is that they can segment the sounds and words, and then they can manipulate the sounds. First word that I'm going to ask. What did you think? Was that typical growth for a kid who only knew 6 letter sounds, no letter sound, no short vowels? Was it typical growth in one session for a kid who couldn't segment a 3-sound word at the beginning? What would other programs have you be doing with that type of student? I was talking with some teachers in Ohio on Friday, and they said, well, first we would have had to do oral only phonological awareness, maybe not even at the level of the individual phoneme. And then maybe separately they would have worked on short A. Would they have worked on short A all week? That's not unusual. But this little boy did a lot more than that. We threw 2 short vowels, several letter sounds, consonants he didn't know, and just wait to see what's going to happen later this week. So that was switch it from someone who's very experienced. I've been doing this for 20 years, but each day you're going to see more and more examples, but also I'm going to be coaching you on the little tips that make it so powerful that enable you to move up. And we're going to see if this little guy is going to move up. Okay? So that's going to wrap it up for our complimentary day 1 of the 5-day reading breakthrough. Make sure that you decide who you're working with and which list you're going to start with. So sign up, get into the Facebook group, go to guides, download the Switch It word list, and then report on the day 1 homework, and then you'll be entered in the drawing. We'll find out tomorrow who our winner is. Greg, go ahead and put our winner for today's being here, and we'll see what that person wins. Gonna spin for them. And then if you want to ask me questions and you're a VIP or you're a member of the Reading Simplified Academy, check your email for a link to get into the Zoom. We'll be in there within a few minutes as soon as we end this time together. So that's going to be an opportunity for you to ask me, individual questions, and we'll be doing that every day for the people with the VIP experience or members who have the already inside the Reading Simplified Academy. Okay, I'm going to wait for Greg to drop that. Maybe I shouldn't wait. He's going to put the name in. He's already told me the name, but it'd be nice to have it up on the screen. Did I miss it? Okay, I love what you guys said. Wonderful example. So quick and efficient. No, this was amazing. He moved on so quickly to PA, phonics, and decoding. Exactly. And so Jean's excited to try it. All right, so there we go. We've got our winner. Let's give it up for Tiffany. What's she going to win? Let's see. I'm going to go into my little Tiny Decisions app. Hey, Tiffany, you get the complete Switch It word list. So please check your messenger so Greg can reach out to you and deliver this to you. If you're already a member, then we might find another bonus for you. But if you want the complete Switch It word list, then watch for Greg reaching out to you in Facebook Messenger. So it's been a treat to have you all here. Thanks for giving us a chance in this 5-day reading breakthrough. If you didn't get your questions answered, drop them in the Facebook group, and one of our Reading Simplified experts will probably get to you. But also, we want to see those members of the Academy and our VIPers in Zoom, and as soon as I can load it up. Ending day 1. Good job.